Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tiamat in Etheria Restart and her entire kit. Now, she is the one I pulled on the beginner's banner, and so she is going to be the one I'm most familiar with. That's why she's going to be the first SSR I'm covering. Now, I plan to cover all of them up to the lead up of the next beta release, and then also the launch of the game. Now, no, with that, we are on the older beta, so all this is subject to change, but I think this is some valuable information for those who are kind of planning their polls for launch, simply because while they're subject to change, they should stay relatively in the same niche, so they should function similarly, even if things change a little bit here and there. And so let's go ahead and take a look at her kit. And I really like what I'm seeing here, and it's going to be hard to top this. I mean, I haven't looked at any of the other characters' kits in detail yet, so I could be completely wrong, but everything in her kit just screams great, because she's kind of like a mix of a tank slash damage dealer, and she's got some healing within her kit. So let's go look at her single damage attack here. There's a lot to this. It's kind of got her mix of her passive within her kit here as well. So we're going to read through this, and then we'll go through the other skills, including her extra one here that applies to her like ultimate form that she transforms into, which was that big like dragon thing we saw when we were pulling for her. So there's a lot here, but I'll kind of explain it as I go through it. So with the attack, Tiamat swings her spear to pierce the target, dealing 2 hits of damage equal to 10% of her max HP to a single enemy, and consuming 8% of her current HP with each hit, and adding real damage equal to 100% to the consumed amount. The big thing is she does a lot of consuming of her own health with her attacks, but that is actually something you really want for her, because we get into the second part, which is kind of her passive here, which is she shares 25% of the damage taken by other allies. So she's also going to be taking damage, a little bit of damage when your other allies get hit, and applying it to herself. But that is good, because of the second part is that every 12% of her own max HP lost or healed, she'll get 1 stack of bloodshed. And when we look at this buff bloodshed, each stack increases healing received by 4% up to 20 stacks. So while she's taking a lot of damage, as she gets these stacks, she will be able to heal back up relatively quickly. And then when we look at her other skills, you can see where she's going to be able to retop herself off with that. But she's also taking hits for your entire team and reducing the damage they're overall taking with that 25%. But the other big thing on the passive is when she does reach 8 stacks of that bloodshed, she enters her ultimate form, which then heals her by 30% of her max HP and immediately lets her go again on her turn. Now, her ultimate form is kind of the goal, is to try and get in that form and then stay in that form as long as you can. And when we read it here, takes on the ultimate form and gains and can only use Purge Day, which is that second skill over here a bit. And so this is a skill that she can only cast when the ultimate form, but this is a really good skill. And so we'll look at what this does. So this is when it's her turn, this is what she's going to do in her ultimate form. She unleashes Purifying Flames to incinerate enemies, dealing damage equal to 15% of her max HP. And that was the big thing I didn't mention there. She stacks off of damage on her HP, not attack. Does it to all enemies, adding additional real damage equal to 13%, basically like a piercing damage, and then recovering HP equal to 20% of the damage dealt. So not only did she heal herself when she came into this mode, and now she can heal herself as she's doing damage with this AoE, and she's doing it to multiple enemies, so she's going to easily keep herself topped up while reducing the damage your rest of your team is taking, and doing a decent chunk of damage herself here. And that is pretty much that. And then let's go ahead and go back to here and read the rest of her ultimate here. So she's doing that in her ultimate form, and then as her turns go by, she's going to start losing those stacks of bloodshed. So we have at turn 1, she loses 2 stacks, turn 2, 4 stacks, turn 3, 8 stacks, and then every turn after that loses 16 stacks. So you can try and maintain this as long as you can, but around that 4th turn, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose it, because you max out at 20 stacks, unless you build an entire team around her, which I think that's going to be a very good potential with her, which we'll talk about at the end when we go through after we go through all her skills. Then she will exit the ultimate mode, our ultimate form, go back to her normal form, and then you got to go from there and rebuild them up to go back into it. Now, we'll take a look at the other skills here, because when she is not going to be able to stay in the ultimate form the entire time. So you're going to have to utilize these other skills, which is actually good, because I think these other skills are also great as well. And those other skills will be helpful in her generating those stacks as well. So we have the other one here, and this is kind of the another one of those tanky slash support slash healing skills that's going to apply to your whole team, which is Shield. So Tiamat attaches a mental bond with allies, consuming 20% of her current HP. She loves losing HP. As we said, we get more of those stacks. And applies a 2-turn healing over time and shield to allies. The shield amount equals 120% of her HP consumed. So she consumes 25% HP. So now one thing is it's 25% of her HP. She stacks. I mean, she's goes off of HP. Like you want to stack as much HP on her. So she's going to have a significantly more HP than your ally. So that shield's going to be quite beefy on your other units, unless you have another unit that also has a lot of HP. But that's going to be overall really good there. And then for every 1 stack of bloodshed that she currently has, the shield gets bigger by another 5% there. So you can get some really beefy shields on them with this skill. And then it has that little bit of a heal over time. And you can see here, when the turn starts, recovers 15% of max HP. So that's going to heal all of your allies, which, as you saw with her bloodshed, she likes healing, because whenever she gets healed, she gets stacks from that as well. So right here, another big one. Now, not only does she share damage with her allies, she also can put a shield and heal them here. And then we have her last skill here, which is a taunt, effectively. Tiamat consumes her own life to empower her spear, throws it to penetrate enemies, consumes 30% of her current HP. They deal 2 hits of damage equal to 10% max HP to all enemies. And with a 60% chance to inflict taunted, taunted forces the enemies to attack her, basically using the cast 1 skill. So that is really nice. Not only does it force them to utilize that skill, but she's the one taking the hits. And like we saw with her passive there, she wants to take that damage to get those bloodshed stacks. And so that is her kit. It may seem a little simple here, but it is quite complex, and I think there are some great synergies you can build around this. So she's basically, I mean, we'll have to kind of see, but I feel like what she wants in her team is she wants other allies, like she wants a damage dealer that potentially has a team-wide heal. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. I mean, it could be the smallest heal there is, because she gains, if she, for when you get healed, max HP lost or healed 12% gains 1 stack of bloodshed. So if she gets healed by that 12% as well, she can gain a stack. So if you have allies that can heal her, even if it's a small part of their kit, it's going to benefit her. So I think she'll be good on like teams that have a lot of healing. Or maybe someone else that can do like that takes teammates' health. Maybe there's an ally that absorbs allies' health to do a lot of damage. And if you absorb her health, now not only does it benefit the teammate that's doing the big hit from absorbing an ally's health, it's also benefiting her to get those bloodshed stacks there. And I mean, with her shield, I mean, it's fine. Your team can be a little bit lower on health, because not only they're spreading the damage with her, they have the ability to have a shield from her, so they can take harder hits because they're not going right into health. And so overall, I think that kit is great. And then I mean, with the taunt, she's going to have so much HP, and you can have the shields. I mean, with them being forced to attack her, it makes your other teammates stay alive even easier. So overall, looks really good. Now, I'm not going to be able to really see her synergies yet, because I haven't looked at all the other characters, but I can picture them. Like I said, you want other allies that have some form of like a little bit of healing within their kits as well, but does a lot of damage, because that benefits her. Or maybe you don't. Maybe she's not doesn't need those other allies, and she can carry most of this on her own. I'll just have to kind of see and do a little bit more testing with her. But I have played her with a healer on my team, and she pretty much goes into the ultimate form almost immediately, and she stays in it for at least 3 turns pretty much every time with that team. And then I have the other 2 basically being damage dealers and just doing a ton of damage. Now, I haven't fine-tuned my team or anything. I'm still at the beginning of the game. But overall, I do like Tiamat, and I think she is going to be the character I will pull for, because she does pretty much everything you want at the start of a new game. I mean, you at the start of the game, that's when it is the most difficult. You're needing those extra heals. You can get the shields to survive the boss hits and all that. We're not built out with full maxed out gear and all at this point. So definitely currently going to be the unit I will most likely pull, unless I see someone with another even crazier kit as I go through them. But yeah, that one's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.